REINHARDT is back and he's bringing a bonus thief. This is for all of you Thracia fans. I know you've waited for so long. Let's jump right in though. REINHARDT is here and he's bringing a bonus thief. This is going to be really interesting and is for all of you Thracia fans who have waited for so long. Let's jump right in with Tina. This unit is fascinating. Understand the way this unit works, she's probably going to be best on Aether Raid's defense, but it is going to become much, much harder for tanks. Because it needed to be harder? I don't know. Let's go over this weapon. This is Thief. Foe cannot counterattack, so Dazzling's built in. We have Slaying, and here's where it gets interesting. At start of turn, grants the bonus effects active on the foe with the most bonus effects active to unit and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn and neutralizes those bonuses on the opponent. Inflicts Omni -4 on foes within 3 columns or 3 rows centered on unit during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat and deals damage equals number of bonus effects active on unit, excluding stat bonuses, times 5, max 20, excluding area of effect specials. Summoners. Okay, so I want you to imagine. Now this has no range. Like at start of combat grants the bonus effects active on the foe. Like they're wherever they are. So imagine your Omni tank that you have been stacking bonuses on and they've still barely been living. Barely. Sometimes not at all. Like it takes a ton to get this done. This unit will take all of those bonuses away. All of them, they're gone. So, it gives them to the units around them. So, for all of you Winter Dimitri fans, just for instance, Winter Dimitri comes up, smacks a unit, and gets Vantage and Null Follow-Up and Dodge and all of these other things. Tons and tons of things. They're gone. They are cleansed. This is a really interesting version of Duo Thor. Now, Duo Thor is definitely still going to be more prevalent in modes like Summoner Duels for obvious reasons. But on defense, this is really, really fascinating. The other place this becomes really interesting is even versus player phase teams that like to hit, take out a unit, and then back up all the way. Now, that next turn, I want you to imagine your Edelgard suddenly not having charge and not having that move an extra space. Yeah, it's gonna get messy. This is a fascinating unit, and if you're an Aether Raid's defense aficionado, this is a must-have. Excellent unit. So, we're moving on. Holy Pressure is amazing. Attack speed ideal, great. Wrathful Tempo. Calculates damage from staff like other weapons. Inflicts speed, res -4 on foe, and neutralizes effects that... So we've got full tempo. Full tempo. That's fantastic, especially paired with Holy Pressure. Holy Pressure is already pretty good. Being able to inflict gravity and... being able to inflict gravity after you've stolen your opponent's bonuses and also boost damage by 40% of foes' res. Like that, this is all very nice. And Infantry Pulse 4 is also excellent and can be used to great effect. And yeah, this is a really interesting unit. Be on the lookout. I think there are going to be some really creative things that folks like Infantry Pulse and Penros do. I'm anxious to see it. We've got Safi next, and another healer, which is interesting. So, another infantry healer. This is not going to be as impactful, but it's still interesting from a support standpoint. This weapon's called Repair, and we've got calculates damage from staff like other weapons. You've got Slaying. You've got, at start of a turn, neutralizes any penalty on unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit and restores 20 HP to those units. Grants Omni +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat, and at the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants Omni +5 to unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. The place where this looks like she's trying to slot in is Aether Raid's offense. And if you think of tanking and how much units like Sonicky have really, they rely heavily on sabotage, and a lot of units do right now. Being able to cleanse that is kind of a big deal. There are a lot of other things that you can get hit with. Is this truly meta impactful? There's so many good supports right now that I'm having a hard time seeing her slot in. It's still very interesting though. And Return Plus is nice. Keep in mind, if you are trying to get Tina, you're probably going to get this unit at the same time. So yeah, at least you get some good fodder in there with Stillwater 4 and Attack Speed Ploy 3. And if this is your favorite, I think you're gonna have places to put her in. Plus I love return fodder. Next up we have Laura, and this is really interesting. I like this art. This is after she talks to Pern because she's a dancer. I love dancers in general, and having another demote is really nice. Having a demote in the pool with Rock Slide Dance, I cannot tell you how amazing that is for Inheritance. That is huge, and I would like a few of these for Inheritance purposes alone. Clever Dagger is okay. Yeah. But really, you're looking at Rock Slide Dance and the possibility of adding a whole lot of other skills if this is your favorite. Dancers are one of the archetypes right now that they have a ton of stuff that you can just lump on top of and really make these units pretty decent. So I'm not gonna say this is an earth-shattering unit, but she's got good art and dancers are great. Here's what you really came to see though, isn't it? And this is Reinhardt, and I mean, the return of Reinhardt. He looks fantastic, and he is a quadding machine, which is interesting. So 45 speed is pretty good. You're gonna have to work really hard to get that up, and his kit helps him with that. So we've got Slaying, we've got grants Omni +5 to unit, grants special cooldown +1 to unit per attack, and neutralizes foes' bonuses to speed res, all very nice. And during combat, if unit speed is greater than foe speed, you get full no follow-up. All of that's excellent. We've got Moonbow, and then we have Thunder Fist as the A skill. Actually, let's go back. Arcane, this is going to be your inheritable weapon, and you'll notice this is speed based. We've talked about this before, but if you want to know how good your unit is going to run this, all you need to do is run it through the Arctic Silver Fox unit chart, do Blue Tome, and sort by speed. The higher your speed, the better your unit is going to do with this. I do like this one. This has a little bit different slant than Arcane Euphoria. I don't know that this pushes the meta quite like Arcane Threema did. I thought Arcane Threema was amazing, and this is good. Like, if you're trying to put this on a unit, I think you're gonna have fun. Very speed based though. You're gonna want high speed. Thunder Fist. I'm disappointed that they put the Brave portion in Thunder Fist as opposed to Arcane Thunder. I know that's kind of some copium there, and that's, you know, they wouldn't do that in the first place, but still I would have liked to see that. I am glad that they gave him Brave though, and this is at the start of combat. If unit's HP is greater than 25%, you get Omni +7 to unit during combat, and deals damage equals 15% of unit's attack. So we've got some nice true damage, we've got some good stats. Overall, we've got a lot of good stats, like 12 in total. And also, if unit initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 50%. So we've got that, those remote skills, we're seeing that here kind of lumped into what this unit does. And if number of spaces from unit's start position to end position is greater than or equal to 2, unit attacks twice. That's only player phase. This is not a dual phase Brave weapon. This is good. The thing that this unit is missing to be meta relevant right now is piercing, and that is tough. That is so necessary because they made it so easy to get damage reduction. It's why they had to release units like Legendary Cam and Duo Sanaki. They just they kind of painted themselves into a hole. Now, we'll talk about this later, but if this unit were to be paired with Legendary Camilla, that makes him much, much better. And you could also put on Desperation, and suddenly you've got a potential for having a quad with damage piercing. That's really good, but he does take some support. Understand that. Next up, we have a new skill. This is Speed Res Trace 4, and I had to look at this a couple times. Enables Kanto remaining minimum of 1. I thought it was minus for some reason. Don't ask. Inflicts Speed Res -4 on foe during combat, and unit deals +7 damage, including when dealing damage with a special triggered before combat. So that's interesting, and that means that would add on to an AoE, but it's not like earth-shattering or anything. Still good. This is still a good skill. The minimum of 1 means that for all of you hit and runners, if you need the unit to go max range and then Kanto back 1, you're able to do that. Defense Res Smoke 3 is a good skill. There are some better ones right now, but that's still solid. But yeah, overall the kit, inheritance-wise, is really resting on Speed Res Far Trace 4. So let's move over into the tier list, and here's where things get interesting. Now, I've got both of these healers on one page because I figured I could kind of talk about them at the same time. For one thing, Safi, listen, I mean, being next to Legendary Elowood, keep in mind this unit is still very usable. I just don't know that she's going to impact the meta, which is more what this chart is really looking at. If Safi's your favorite, I still think this is a good unit, and this is not like a dumpster fire. You're going to be able to use this unit. You're going to have a lot of fun with her. Stavs have been getting better skills lately. Tina is really interesting, and with the prevalence of bonuses right now, I almost moved her up to the bottom of meta tier, but the fact is I don't know that she's going to be good in a whole lot of modes. Like Aether Raid's offense, her weapon's kind of positioned incorrectly. Like it's not going to steal bonuses like you want it to. And I think I have to read it again for Summoner Duels, but I don't believe she is really going to have a huge impact there. I could be wrong though. Aether Raid's defense though, I think she is going to be hugely impactful. And I would be on the lookout for this unit. Really, this unit is pushing you more and more towards player phase, hit and run, and Gale Force type teams. I am wildly curious to see this unit in action, and I want a copy. This is if you're building a defense right now, I think this is meta tier. But really, I'm trying to look at the whole picture of how good this unit is. And she doesn't rank up there with the likes of Camilla or Hinoka on the scale of the game. Let's talk about Laura, and I mean, on a free-to-play scale, she's more in the tier 2. I like infantry dancers. I think there are a lot of things you can do with them, but so many of these units, these Grail and demodes and seasonal demodes, and they have been very good lately. And so right now she's in tier 2, but you're still able to use her, and I think her fodder is going to be really, really good. Okay, Reinhardt is another one of those units that it just depends on the team. If you pair this unit with Legendary Camilla, I think he bumps up into the meta tier, particularly because I think at that point he takes out the Byleths. As is right now, I don't think a quad hit is going to take out the Byleths, particularly with Desperation is what I'm talking about here. I don't think he gets there. I think he's going to need some damage piercing in order to do that, but trust me, there will be highlight reels of this. Look for Zashadow's video. I'm positive he'll show this video against this unit against Byleth. But as a unit on his own, I think he's a tier 1 nuke, and I think he has a high ceiling and could be interesting depending on who is using the unit. So if this is your favorite, keep that in mind. And I did this one first so you guys wouldn't throw rocks at me. And as far as fodder factories go, understand that the reason he's so low is because ranged calves can't inherit a lot of things. If they can't inherit a lot of things, they can't pass things along very well. That is really the only reason he's down that low. Speed Res Far Trace, I think, is really interesting. The unit himself, though, passing skills along, if you get this unit, it's because he's your favorite and you want to use him. You're not doing this for fodder factory reasons. If you're curious about building systems around units like Reinhardt, I just put out a video on that. I'll leave the link right here. Members, you are amazing and help me do so much. I thank you, everyone, and take care and schedule an appointment with your fail just real soon.